All right, this is Mark Wagner, and I'm here live with Anton Vorontsov, former consultant for Wells Fargo with Senior Business Initiatives, and currently a consultant for blockchain at Berkeley. Calling in from San Mateo, we're here to talk about a few points that we think people ought to know about. And Anton, would you give a more formal introduction for yourself?
I would say that as blockchain is not only...
Oh, hold on. Could you do something with your microphone? We're having a problem hearing you.
Do you hear me better?
Yes. So could you tell us a little bit about what you're doing with Berkeley right now?
So right now I'm volunteering. I'm a pro bono volunteer to activities that undergraduate students are doing at blockchain at Berkeley. Right now, most of them, they have the internships, summer internships. So the main activity should start in September.
Right, okay.
And right now, I'm learning more about the field. And I look for opportunities to apply my skills in consulting.
Okay.
From McKinsey and PricewaterhouseCoopers.
Right, and it's interesting. You're teaching the forefront of tomorrow's engineers right now, but the public needs to know a lot about this. And right now, it's kind of just now making the head articles, and people are starting to really raise interest in it. When even a lot of people that are directly involved in production of these new coins coming out and tokens coming out don't even understand them themselves. So that's why there were a few points that we wanted to talk about tonight. One to start off about kind of unethical ICOs that may be happening and token releases that don't maybe have founding. So, for example, I won't name an example, but there was a certain one that recently came out that was the purposes to create for document management for government documents and identity verification purposes. And it's a token, and I think most of the listeners here probably can tell what I'm talking about, but there is not actually a coin in existence. It's just a token written into the Ethereum base, but it's using the Ethereum system. But that's something that could be done in almost a day. However, I don't think they've really actually been officially issued because they're not exchangeable. There's no trading volume. They just are basically selling securities in the promise that it will be produced later on down the road. It's kind of like buying a share of a hedge fund where you can't go trade it in any market. You have to discuss with someone, and it's all kind of contractual, so it's not securitized properly yet, and the SEC hasn't even gotten involved in regulating this. It just isn't for the mere fact that they were trying to raise money, which they did, and people have willfully invested in something that may not ever be able to be exchanged. So what do you think about this?
Right now, my general opinion is that there is a big confusion on the market. And many people, they do not understand what ICO, blockchain, digital currency are, and since there is a big buzz on the market, so the main reasonable thing is to join the game. And if, for example, if we're talking about ICOs, since they are growing fast, it is not that important to understand the economic value. What's really important is to buy a token for X dollars, assuming that tomorrow it will be possible to sell it at 2X.
Right, and that's what most people are thinking, but a lot of people don't even understand the difference between an ICO and, I guess you would call it an ITO, initial token versus initial coin. A coin has its own system of nodes. It's programmed in a certain way, whereas a token is like a format. It's like the difference between building a website from scratch and using front page or WordPress or something like that.
Exactly.
So the token is within Ethereum. It uses the Ethereum system. They're still using gas. The smart contracts are written the same way. You can use a lot of the same software to write the contracts, which is the backbone of the Ethereum is all doing contracts because it has a lot more capabilities, which we're going to get to another point about the differences between Bitcoin and Ethereum and why the two are so different and what their advantages are. But another issue moving forward, I guess we should probably do another podcast just on this first topic, but people really need to be careful with what they're purchasing right now. A lot of people are going to make a big money issuing coins and tokens, and some of them have use, but you really need to think really deep. Does this need to be decentralized? Is there a reason that this should be in a decentralized ledger? Is there a reason why Bitcoin and Ethereum aren't already good enough? Is there a reason to buy a new token? Those are questions people need to ask before purchasing. But there's a lot of speculation going on. And I think for now, investors are still going to make quite a bit of money just purchasing these without doing research. But there will come a day of reckoning. So
yeah, one question. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
One question about saying that people are making money. Do you need traditional money?
Well, it's traditional money so long as they can exchange it for traditional money, for fiat.
Okay. So it's all about making digital currencies, which then may be converted to real money.
Exactly. So right now, people are willingly trading their fiat currency for a chance, not a share, but a chance to own a share when it comes out, kind of like a Kickstarter of a future token. And this is where I think there's gonna be some issues because they don't even have it yet. There isn't an exchange. There's no volume. They can't get rid of it. So someone's probably saying, hey, I just bought, such and such token last month, but now I could, if the normal people were purchasing, and fortunately I think it's boosted by the fact that most of them are speculators who have some spare change who are playing around with it. But if the average person was investing in this like they would a currency, they might need the money out and they have no volume. It was a mistake to purchase it. And even if there was volume, even if there was an exchange, I think that Bitcoin and Ethereum grew kind of organically, and these are being forced. They grew because they had to be mined first, so there was some intrinsic value. Someone spent this amount of electricity mining this token, but with the releases, they just basically, it's a token, it's not a coin, so that no one had to mine any of them. They just took existing Ethereum, split it up, wrote a bunch of rules, and then just said there's going to be this many, and someone typed 30 million shares, enter, and now they can issue them. But it's not Ethereum. It's a new token they made with Ethereum. And the other thing is that for accessing these, I think people are jumping to these coin releases as a way to purchase them because for a long time it was very confusing to buy Bitcoin when Bitcoin was like the only game in town. You would have to contact someone, trust someone, and now there's a lot of ways to obtain these currencies.
Yeah, with this regard, what's really important to understand that if we're talking about Bitcoin, we assume that there is certain value.
Right.
And this value comes from constant demand. Because without demand, there is no value. It's just a protocol.
Right, and that applies to anything. There's nothing that isn't susceptible to the laws of supply and demand. And
yes, it applies to anything. But if we're talking about some real assets like gold, if there is no demand for gold, well, at least it is possible to say that there is certain value in gold because it is limited on Earth.
I mean, unless nobody wanted it. But
yeah, it is possible, but it looks that usually people want it.
Right. So it's something people are most likely to always want. You know, the dollar less so, but more so than Bitcoin. In the future, maybe everyone will be running screaming from digital currencies. Bitcoin likely not, but some of these almost certainly. So, you know, and a lot of researchers are looking at Ethereum and saying like, oh, you know, Ethereum's going to be, you know, it's better than Bitcoin. It's traceable and it's reversible, and the nodes are more controllable. It's like a tamer and faster Bitcoin. And yes, it is faster, but I don't think anyone ever did do the research on how many people are using Bitcoin specifically for its benefits of anonymity and difficulty of entering the marketplace. Was that a benefit to it that we didn't really realize? And could you even find out how many people were using it for that purpose? Probably not. But that could be that the benefit of cryptocurrency was more in the fact that it was crypto in that way, not just in the way that it's using cryptography to maintain itself, but in that it was used for a lot of anonymous transfers, and maybe that anonymous store of money was what people are looking for. And if they aren't going to do that, then they have no issue using a centralized application.
Right.
Because and that's
talking about.
And that's why IBM is coming out with a centralized distributed ledger that's all distributed on their one server or their multiple servers, but it's controlled by, there's one man behind the curtain, and that means that they might as well just have this in a regular table. There's no reason to have. I mean, there's a slightly less liability for security purposes, but they're just kind of trying to get people's attention with that. Oh, look, we're using blockchain as well. But maybe they're going to come out with another dimension of it that I haven't conceptualized and no one's really thought of, and they're going to use blockchain for that. I'm not sure, but the main purpose of distributed ledger isn't being utilized in their thing with Watson. So that's a question I had. What do you think about about Bitcoin's initial rise to fame being based out of a lot of illegitimate trades? And we'll get right back to you. Maybe I ran on too long. Couldn't take it. Hey, are you still on the call?
Yeah, hello.
Hey, Anton. So,
hey, all good.
Well, we'll just move on to point number 4 and 5 together. What do you think about the coin's stability? Which ones are going to stabilize? Do you think Bitcoin had a lot of benefit in the fact that it was anonymous? Or do you think Ethereum's speed and reversibility is going to gain trust in people and continue to grow and become the main currency?
I think that right now we cannot say that which currency would be only one. Usually, on the market, there is duopoly. There is a number of players, like 3 to 5, which is okay. I cannot say that there will be only one currency. There will be 2 or 3. Right now, we see clear leaders like Bitcoin, Ethereum. They are running on different protocols, concepts, but at the end, it is blockchain. It is distributed ledger.
Okay, so you think it'll just continue to, you don't think people are going to stick to a standard? It's just going to kind of roll over as time goes by, so it's going to be an ever-changing?
I would say that for the market, out of the history, it is reasonable to assume that there will be several players.
Okay.
And yeah, that's it.
That's why I'm telling people the only thing left of the big three is Litecoin. That's the only one that hasn't shot up yet.
Yeah. But again, these are we going to margin, so we don't know.
But yeah, you have to look at what they do, right? We all know the benefits of the first big three, and well, like Dogecoin just to be silly, but Litecoin's super fast and lightweight. Ethereum's very traceable, faster, versatile, a lot of contract capability. Then Bitcoin, well, it's the original, it's the granddaddy, and it's anonymous, and it's slow and bulky, but it gets things done, and it had the first big share, and it's got the most share. So those are the three. Right. But do we need more? You have to look at that and think about it before you participate in a coin release or a token sale.
This is the market will tell. Right now, we can only assume.
Right.
And my assumption is that it will be no more than 3, 4, 5. No more than 3.
Okay, so that doesn't leave a lot of hope for Civic. But, well, we'll end on that note. But we'll have to get into a more advanced discussion soon. And, oh, well, look at that. Perfect timing. So that was, thank you for joining us tonight, and happy mining.